Darrell, some perspective to start with. The season is only 3 games old, and yet three defeats. Where are we at with Bristol Rovers? And obviously the disappointment post Tuesday.
Of course, yeah. I think it's difficult to look for perspective, but we have to. I think the best way I can describe things is to our fans and to people is it's like a jigsaw puzzle. This and I know it sounds bad. I don't want to repeat myself, but I'm comfortable with the process of where we need to get to. Does that make sense? But within course of that is a massive jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to put all the puzzles to the pieces together. But while you're doing that, some of those pieces get removed, okay? And some of those pieces are missing to start off with. Now, nobody wants to work with patience and time in football. I get that. But I think I've got the trust of the fan bases is that no, I'm going to get it right. But in the course of that, getting all those pieces of the puzzle together takes a bit of time, okay? And yes, we're disappointed. Yes, we're analysing absolutely everything. And yes, I have a clear understanding of where we need to go and where we need to be moving forward. So I'd like to think things will change quickly. I can't guarantee that. But what I can say is that we will eventually get there, and that's the best way I can describe it, to be honest. I think that the first 2 games of the season, I think we should have got more out of it, but we didn't. So then it becomes a little bit of unrest. Tuesday night's game becomes a little bit scattergun, is in the, you're wanting to look at 1 or 2 players who have missed a bit of pre-season, catch some minutes up, but you're obviously wanting a lot more better performance than we produced. So we have to clear that away now, understand that the next game's the next project, and we're working away on a tough trip to Chesterfield, and then we're looking for that momentum change.
Very rarely does a manager come in when everything's hunky-dory. Obviously, Rovers relegated last season. Has it surprised you, just the job in hand and the challenge ahead for you?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't, because I think if you look at it, someone told me a statistic the other day, I think it's 10 out of the last 12 teams relegated this division and finished in the bottom half of the table. It's never easy to turn a losing mentality into a winning mentality, because there's a lot of unrest which comes with that. There's a lack of trust and connection between players and fan base, and then to put in the mix, there's lads fitting into the club as well. So it's about being controlled and measured about it. I like to think that's what I am, with my past experiences in the game and going into similar situations that I'm going into now. So yes, it's painful. It has been painful, but yes, I still believe there is going to be a lot better times around the corner.
And you can't speak for the players, but rest assured they haven't thrown in the towel, and they are giving their all to help turn things around.
Listen, players that won't be at the club long. The fans know how we work, and how I work. So we have to make sure that I did a talk this morning a little bit on resilience. There's a little bit of resilience. You have to be strong. You have to understand that players that have been at the club now a period of time have to be able to put on a lot better performances than they have done, because the fans will lose patience with them, and I'll lose patience with them, if that makes sense. So you have to show that resilience and that mentality to make sure that they get themselves to a level where they're performing at the best, and a lot of that can be in their heads. So having a discussion and talk about that, and understanding that the new players that come into the club as well, no one gets off lightly. They understand what the club's about and learn quickly. And I go through periods in my career where that all takes that little bit of time.
And the players sometimes need some help, don't they? I mean, fans are absolutely right to express their opinions, and sometimes you must be just tempted to shout at them, but sometimes an arm around the shoulder and get their confidence back as well.
Yeah, listen, and that's the accountability for myself, is because the first person I'll always look at is myself. Do you know what I mean? How can I help my players? Because that's what I am, a teacher. I'm an educator. I'm trying to get into their minds, trying to get in their mindsets, give them specific game plans that try and win football matches while connecting a new group of players. I'm building with a lack of confidence in 1 or 2 players. So, that's my accountability to get that right, and I believe I do. I believe I've shown a period of time now as a manager that I have done, and I continue to believe those aspects. But we want it sooner rather than later. We don't want to be, we don't want to be talking about this in 2-3 months' time. We want to be looking a lot more settled with the 11 when we get the final piece of the jigsaw that we need into the squad. Those 3-4 players that we need into the team, obviously strengthen us, and hopefully then the road's ahead with a few bumps along the way.
Yeah, we're chatting at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. In terms of strengthening your squad, are you on good course to bring some bodies in?
Yeah, I'm 99% there's one going to be done before the weekend, so that's a positive. So hopefully we get one done, and then hopefully we get a few more done next week. So everyone's working really hard to make sure we get that. But it's important is that, and I mentioned this after the game, is that we want better players into the club. We don't want to be putting average players into the club that become squad fillers for me. I'm looking for players to come in to start, to push and to get into the starting 11, because that's what we need.
Would you be keen to maybe trim the squad as well?
Yeah, listen, you're always player trading. I think I said this in pre-season. We'll be player trading until the last window for different reasons. With the way the window goes, the way with one or two players need to quickly get into that, what I'd say the players that have been here before need to quickly get into that rhythm to find that, because if my gut's saying I'm not going to get that response, we'll probably have to look at different angles. But we'll be player trading right to the end window, but players have opportunity to come in, perform, change mindsets.
Can you relish Saturday? Chesterfield, 2 wins out of 2 in League Two.
Looking forward to it, yeah, very much so. Very much so. Like Cookie's a guy that I've got an unbelievable amount of respect for. We go back a long way. We come up against each other a lot of the times, and he's a great footballing guy, straight, honest, and we probably speak 3-4 times in a season. He's got a talented team. You look at Cookie's another player that's got another manager that's gone back to his club. A couple of seasons to get out of the National League, which was no mean feat. Does that, and then last season they just miss out. They will be in the top 7 this season. They've got good players, good squad, good management team. But we're looking forward to that challenge. You know, nobody would probably be expecting us with the form we've been in to go and get anything out of the game, but we'll be going there with a plan and hopefully execute it.
Claire, just talking about arms around the shoulder, have you kind of got a gauge for your squad now in terms of maybe who benefits more from that arm around the shoulder, more softer approach, as opposed to maybe who needs more traditional, you know, and for a better word, kick up the backside?
Yeah, I do, Dan. Yeah, I do. I think there's always that mixture as well. But listen, you can have an arm around you, you can have a volley up the arse, you can do all of those things, but it's got to come from individual mindsets as well, right? Do you understand? There's a lot of people, when a house is on fire, they either run to the fire with water or they run off, you know, and I call resilience and looking at that is where do you want to be, you know, because there is that little bit of negativity, there is going to be that around it. And you know, we had a group last time that changed mindsets, and they have the opportunity to change their mindsets. I mean, they can have cuddles off me, they can have bloody kicks up the arse, they can have whatever they want off me that's going to make them perform. But I think sometimes it's got to come from within.
Was there any element of, obviously you know the fan base well, but surprise that, you know, there was so much audible discontent and frustration from the stands on Tuesday night for a cup game 3 games into the season?
No, because I've managed I've managed some players that have done really well here and been slaughtered coming off the pitch. The fans here, this is why I love our fans, is the fans will say how it is, right? Okay, yes, we live in a very critical world at the minute, but you see when the boys started to up the tempo second half, you see the fan base react in a real positive manner. It might have only been 10-15 minutes. The fans give you every opportunity, I think, here to be able to perform. I do, you know, but they're also going to let you know when they're not happy. Deal with it. I got to deal with it. I've dealt with that for years. Players have got to deal with that, you know, because it's a specific type of player that deals with that and then flourishes on it, or there's a specific type of players that just can't handle that. But I wouldn't change what our fans are about.